और ऑप्शन मिल जाएगा।
हाँ कोई तो रहेगा।
all my batchmates, and my beloved juniors. Today, I, Prakash, is here to conduct today's event. So, at the first, I would like to start the event with the famous quote of Mahatma Gandhi, which says, "The future depends on what you do today." Topic for today's event is opportunities in civil aviation, energy sector, and housing and defense. So, we will start with the civil aviation. Civil aviation is one of the major categories of flying, representing all non-military aviation, both private and commercial. With this, I would like to call our first presenter, UP19 SWF 134140, Cadet Vandana Bhojwani, to start his presentation.
Jai Hind everyone. My topic is civil aviation. So first introduction. So please change the slide. Introduction. The Indian aviation industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. Civil aviation in India began in December 1912 with the opening of the first domestic air route between Karachi and Delhi. 3 years later, the first Indian airline, Tata Sons Limited, started a regular air mail services between Karachi and Madras without any assistance from the government. In present scenario, India ranked 9th in the global civil aviation market. The government's open sky policy has led to many overseas players entering the market, and the industry has been growing both in terms of players and number of aircrafts. Today, private airlines account for around 75% share of the domestic aviation market. So change the slide. Growth of industry. The growth of airlines traffic is aviation industry in India is almost 2 times international average. Domestic airlines flew 3.67 million passengers in August 2009, an increase of 25%. India ranks fourth after US, China, and Japan in terms of domestic passengers volume. The number of domestic flights grew by 69% from 2005 to 2008. The domestic aviation sector expected to grow at the rate of 9 to 10% to reach a level of 150 to 180 million passengers by 2020. The industry witnessed an annual growth of 12.8% during the last 5 years in the international cargo handled at Indian airports. The airports handle a total of 1020.9 thousand metric tons of international cargo in 2006 to 2007. Further, there has been an increase in tourist charter flights to India in 2008 with around 686 flights bringing 150,000 tourists. Also, there has been an increase in non-scheduled operator permits 99 in 2008 as against 66 in 2007. So change the slide. Reasons for growth. Air transport is the most modern, the quickest, and the largest addition to the modes of transport. Because of speed with which airplanes can fly, travel by air is becoming increasingly popular. Rising disposable income, together with the introduction of low-cost airlines, is making air travel affordable for a large section of the population. This is creating a demand for development of airports across the country. India offers a cost-competitive workforce for the development of air force infrastructure. Increased inward and outward tourism, increased business trade due to rapidly growing economy and free trade agreement with neighboring countries. Opportunities. Opportunities. सर वो स्लाइड शायद आई नहीं है कि मैं ऐसे बोलूँ. Opportunities, airport development and modernization. The government is promoting private participation for the development of greenfield airports and modernization of exciting airports. It is also working towards making existing non-operational airports in country operational. Airport connectivity. The Ministry of Civil Aviation is focusing on improving connectivity to major airports. It has selected 12 airports. These include the Mumbai, China, Bangalore, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Cochin, Coimbatore, and the proposed Navy Mumbai and Noida airports. The last topic is government initiatives. AAI Act 1994 was amended by Indian Parliament recently to facilitate private sector participation in development of greenfield airports. Government will have no rule in the management of such private sector airport except for security and air traffic control. Government of India formulated a new national policy on airport infrastructure in 1997 to provide a board framework for development of airport infrastructure with public and private sector participation. The policy permits development of greenfield airports where an existing airport is usually unable to meet the projected requirements of traffic. It can be allowed both as replacement for an existing airport or for simultaneously operations. The two operational greenfield airports are at Hyderabad and Bangalore. Thank you.
Indeed, a nice presentation. To the most people, the sky is limit. To those who love aviation, the sky is home. With this, we will move on to the next topic, energy sector.
Jai Hind everyone.
Modern,
This is
modern society consumes large part of fuel through action, crucial part of infrastructure and maintenance of society in almost all countries. With this, I would like to call upon UP19 SWF 134138 Cadet Shikha to present her presentation.
thank you, sir. So my topic is Indian energy sector. So next slide. Okay. Indian energy overview. Annual primary energy consumption in India is about 537 MTOE. So is this the first slide? Yeah, okay, it's okay now. Annual primary energy consumption in India is about 537 MTOE in 2005. That is 3.5% of world primary energy consumption. Per capita consumption is about 310 per kgoe, while of the world is 1513 per kgoe. That is around 20% of the world standard. India is the third largest consumer of coal, sixth largest consumer of oil, 19th largest consumption of natural gas. Consumption of energy. Industry is the largest consumer, 65% of the electricity generation, 35% of the non-power sector industries. Transportation follows second. Next slide. Indian energy overview. Electricity generation. Installed capacity as on 31st September 2008 was 14,05,440 megawatt. In the year 2007 to 2008, energy generation was 666 billion units. Peak demand deficit was 16.6%. Energy shortage was 10.3%. Coal is the dominant source, contributing to 53% of the energy generation. Renewable energy contributed to 8% of the energy generation, dominated by the wind power. 8,579 megawatt of wind power, fourth largest in the world. 1406.63 megawatt of biomass power. 87.87 megawatt of solar power. Next slide. The future scenario. India will need to import most its energy source to meet its burgeoning demand for energy in the next 25 years. International Energy Agency, World Energy Outlook 2008. By 2030, around 60 million Indians could still be without power. Electrification drive lags its economic development. Business standards, 10 November 2008. Power addition short to target the two-thirds due to delay in supply of components for thermal project and non-availability of fuel for nuclear projects. Mr. R.V. Shahi's weekly column for Infraline, August 20, 2007. Availability of adequate manpower, a crucial constant for India's capacity addition. India will need additional 13,44,000 skilled and unskilled workforce at the end of 2012 in its power sector alone to meet the current additional plan. Next slide. Future demand. If India needs to sustain a 8% to 10% economic growth rate over the next 25 years, and we have to eradicate poverty and meet our human development goals, then we need to first increase our primary energy supply to 3 to 4 times of our 2003 to 2004 levels. Second, increase our electricity generation capacity or supply by 5 to 6 times of our 2003 and 2004 levels. Within 2003 and 2004 as the base, India's commercial energy supply would need to grow from 5.2% to 6.1% per annum, while its total primary energy supply would need to grow at 4.3% to 5.1% annually. By 2031 to 2032, power generation capacity must increase to nearly 8 lakh megawatt from the currently capacity of around 1,65,000 megawatt, inclusive of all captive plants. This indicates a tremendous potential in power generation and related activities. The electricity generation, transmission, and distribution sector along is estimated to require an investment of at least rupees 60 trillion in 2005 rupees. The total energy sector investment could well amount to rupees 100 to 110 trillion in 2005, rupees inclusive of related infrastructure. Additional man-force required for meeting the primary commercial energy and electricity need is estimated to be more than 2 million over the next 2 decades. Next slide. Okay, emerging technologies. Coal, which includes coal bed methanation, coal to liquid, coal gasification, coal emulsification, oil and gas, which includes deep water exploration, oil standards, solar SPV powers, solar thermal powers, fuel cells, stirring engine, microwind power, geothermal energy, tidal energy, biomass, which includes biomass to liquid, biomass to gas, bioethanol, biodiesel, biogas, MSW, RDF, ultra supercritical thermal plants, IGCC, carbon capture and storage. Next slide. Future energy demand, discipline, conventional, renewable, and electricity. Conventional includes mining, exploration, petrochemical, chemical, mechanical, electrical, material science, metallurgy, civil, instrumentation, information technology. And renewable includes geology, material science, metallurgy, bioengineering, chemistry, aerodynamics, hydrology, agriculture, mechanical, civil, electrical. And the electricity includes mechanical, electrical, chemical, material science, metallurgy, civil, instrumentation, information technology. Next. Indian energy sector, employment opportunity. To help meet the capacity addition in power generation, huge manpower will required. It is estimated that by 2017, about 13 lakh addition manpower of the 65% shall be technical and manager or supervisory skills. It takes about 6 to 7 years for a fresh engineer to reach supervisory cadre. This does not take into account the manforce requirement in support and ancillary industries, that is, mining, equipment manufacturing, transportation, legal, logistics. Thus, if we have to make available the required manpower, we have to start now. The charts and the pie is explained as the data in the slide. Now over to you, Charu. Thank you.
Okay, so Jai Hind everyone. This is Cadet Charu Rawat, and today I'm going to speak on the topic housing and defense. Next slide. Housing. Real estate is an important investment, a venue for many stock and mutual fund investors. From last few years, the investors were willing to pour money into the market due to its stagnant growth. However, there is a positive sentiment in the market now because of constructive initiatives of government. As per ICRA report, investor sentiment was positive in FY 2016 to 17, 45 billion plus capital infusion, as compared to FY 2015 to 16, 26 billion capital infusion. The risk factor seems more mitigated in the coming financial year 2017 to 18. As per a CRISIL report, over the next 4 years, affordable housing finance companies are likely to grow at a CAGR of 40%. Next slide. So here are some opportunities in housing. Credit linked subsidy scheme for middle income group. With an announcement of credited linked subsidy scheme for middle income group people, the housing finance sector is likely to set for a leg up. 70 lending institutions have already signed MOUs with National Housing Bank for implementation of CLSS MIG. There will be more inflow of funds in the sector because of an accorded infrastructure status to the affordable housing segment. Next slide. Investment in portfolios. property stocks, RE REITs. Some of you prefer investing in physical property and stocks of real estate companies, and some of you want to do an investment in REIT. At the global level, REITs has outperformed leading stock market indices over the last one decade. Focus on infrastructure development and smart cities mission. The government is very focused on infrastructure development, as is evident from a plethora of ongoing road projects. The government is working on the widening of NH24, which will boost the real estate market of the surrounding area. The Smart Cities mission will enhance the quality of life in the region. Demand for housing will scale up with facilities of better electricity and water supply, good governance, intelligent transportation systems, and adequate Medicare facilities. Next slide. Abolition of Foreign Investment Promotion Board. While presenting Budget 2017, the government wants to abolish the Foreign Investment Promotion Board. This will ease regulatory hurdles in attracting investments in the real estate sector. There were not being requirement of any approval from FIPB and need to pass through sectoral laws. Falling of interest rates. The inflation of has been falling gradually through this year, and owing to this, RBI slashed the REPO rates. The decreased REPO rates make banks avail money at low rate of interest, and as a result, lending institutions cut down the interest rate on home loans. In India, most of the people rely on home loans to purchase a property. This finance option is open for all salaried and self-employed individuals. Even organizations are depend on housing loans for commercial and industrial properties. India's defense sector has been growing at a modest pace for the past few years. Modernization of the armed forces and indigenization of manufacturing have emerged as focus areas. The segment is receiving the much needed push under the Make in India program. The concept of import substitution is being gradually accepted by stakeholders. This is an opportune time to embark upon a new phase of self-reliance in the sector by manufacturing technology advanced equipment within India. Next slide. Defense production in India is gradually heading towards private sector participation between 2015 to 16 and 2018 to 19, April to October. Out of a total 188 contracts, 121 contracts have been signed with Indian vendors, including DPSUs, PSUs, OFP, and private vendors of capital procurement of defense equipment. The equipment to be procured includes helicopters, naval vessels, radars, ballistic helmets, artillery guns, simulators, missiles, bulletproof jackets, electronic fuzzes, and ammunition. DPP 2018 is a step towards creating an industry friendly structure to facilitate better contract negotiations and improve the pace of contract awards. Breakthroughs like make procedure, strategic partnership, model liberalization of FDI norms, and creating a level playing to private industry have been introduced. However, the strategic partnership policy has several shortcomings which might create barriers in realizing the goals. Next slide. The size of here are some opportunities in defense manufacturing. The size of the opportunity is huge. The government is looking at achieving a turnover of rupees 1.7 trillion in military goods and services by 2025, and the SP model is envisaged to capitalize this opportunity and contribute to Make in India program. The target also is to achieve export of rupees 350 billion in defense goods and services by 2025. As per the acquisition plans of the three armed forces in the next 10 years, the industry is expected to acquire capital assets worth rupees 15 trillion. Next slide. So here are some key players which play key role in defense manufacturing. Adani Defense and Aerospace, Airbus Group India, Ashok Leyland Defense Systems, Base Systems India, Bharat Dynamics Limited, Bharat Earth Movers Limited, Bharat Electronics Limited, Bharat Forge Limited, Boeing India, Dassault Aviation, Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers Limited, Goa Shipyard Limited. Next slide. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Hindustan Shipyard Limited, Larsen and Toubro, Mahindra Defense Systems, Mazagon Dock Limited, Mishra Dhatu Nigam Limited, Punj Lloyd Industries Limited, Reliance Defense Limited, and Tata Group. Thanks for watching.
Indeed, a great presentation. So with this, we are moving for the next section. But before this, I would like to ask Neeraj sir whether we are getting after 5 minutes for